Good afternoon and welcome to Channel 44. I am Masi Gashegu Sembatia to bring you this afternoon's news in brief, live here on Channel 44. I will later be joined by Livingstone Kawesi for sign language interpretation and translation. We'll start with what's happening in neighboring Kenya. One person has been shot dead at a market near Kibera slum in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, as protests are underway in the city of Nairobi. Traders are screaming that the person who has been shot dead is a mechanic and not a protester, and they say it's a police officer who fired at him. The wounded person has been taken to hospital on a medical support in the area. It comes as heavy presence of security officers across the city have been cited. Access to some roads in the city have been restricted to prevent people from gathering. The opposition has called for planned mass protests against the high cost of living and what they term an illegitimate presidency. Over 24,000 tires have been confiscated by police in different towns. He said police are working with the military to maintain calm. Opposition minority party, the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, is leading the so-called national shutdown. It kicked off protests well before Sunday midnight, according to local media reports. The EFF is calling for the resignation of President Cyril Ramaphosa and an end to the energy crisis in the country. Nigeria's ruling All Progressive Congress Party, APC, retained control of the country's commercial hub, Lagos, in state elections marked by low turnout. Lagos is Africa's largest city with a population of more than 20 million people. Voters in the state had last month backed opposition candidate Peter Obi in disputed presidential elections that have been challenged in court. Incumbent Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu retained his seat with a tally of over 760,000 votes, double the count of his closest rival in results announced by the Electoral Commission. His opponent rejected the outcome before the final count was announced, citing fraud. He vowed to challenge the results. Nigerian governors control budgets worth millions of dollars, are in charge of schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. In the United Kingdom, the central bank has said banks are safer after regulators agreed a rescue deal for Credit Suisse aimed at preventing fears of a bank spreading. The bank was bought by rival UBS in a Swiss government-backed deal yesterday after regulators worked frantically around the clock to secure a deal. It comes amid fears of over the global financial systems after two smaller US banks failed in recent weeks. Despite the swift action by regulators, stock markets in the UK and Asia fell. London's FTSE 100 index was down 1.6% in early trading, while Japan's Nikkei 225 lost 1.4%. The Hang Seng index in Hong Kong fell 2.6%. In Asia, people in India's Punjab have launched a massive search for Amrit Pal Singh, a controversial self-styled preacher who has been on the run since Saturday. Internet and messaging services in the state have remained suspended since the search began, and security has been tightened. The 30-year-old says he supports the Khalistan movement for a separate Sikh homeland. The police have arrested several of his aides so far. The crackdown comes weeks after Singh's supporters stormed a police station demanding the release of an aide who had been arrested. In the Middle East, Iran says Saudi Arabia has invited Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi for an official visit just over a week since the countries agreed to restore diplomatic relations. The invitation is said to have come in a letter from King Salman, but has not yet been confirmed by the Saudis. The Middle East's recent history has been dominated by hostility between the two nations. China brokered the thaw, which could reshape the region's geopolitics. A senior Iranian official, Mohammad Jamshidi, tweeted about the invitation to visit the Saudi capital, Riyadh, saying Mr. Raisi welcomed it and stressed Iran's readiness to expand cooperation. Elsewhere, a former Australian SAS soldier has been charged with murder following an investigation into alleged war crimes in Afghanistan. Oliver Scholes, who is age 41, is the first Australian serviceman or veteran to be charged with a war crime under Australian law. The offence carries a maximum sentence of life in jail. He was arrested today in regional New South Wales and will face court tomorrow. The Australia Broadcasting Corporation, ABC, says Mr. Scholes is the person referred to as a Soldier C in a 2020 ABC Four Corners documentary exposing alleged war crimes. A major cleanup effort is underway in Australia after millions of fish died in a river in western New South Wales. Fish will be cleared from high-density areas, but it will not be easy. It will not be possible to remove all carcasses, according to police. However, the police reassured local residents that the water supply remained high quality. That the deaths are thought to have been caused by low oxygen levels in the river after a recent heat wave. An emergency hub has been set up in the town of Menindee in western North South Wales to coordinate the response and monitor the water quality. Well, that brings us to the end of this afternoon's News in Brief. Thank you for watching Channel 44. Pastor Jessica Kayanja is coming up next with the lunch hour program. Stay tuned. I assure you, you'll be tremendously blessed. And also, I remind you that today is Monday and we are having a revival service here at the Miracle Center Cathedral. We are having dream interpretation. The season is still on. We've had deliverance sessions during these dream interpretations, not only for the person whose dream has been interpreted, but for most of us that be in the congregation. Come and join us and your life will not remain the same again. Pastor Robert Kayanja will be around and he will be interpreting very many dreams this evening. I also remind you that this Saturday is a special day. Come ready to be delivered in very special ways. I remain Mercy Gashego Sembatia. I return at 4 p.m. with business news together with Bill Clinton Wahereza. Stay tuned to Channel 44. Enjoy the lunch hour program and God bless you.